Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, and welcome to day 9 of the 12 Cast Ons of Christmas. My name is Kirsty, and I am here to cast on my 9th project in 10 days as part of Ange of Yarn and Yarn's Make Along, where you cast on up to 12 things between the 24th of December and the 31st of January the following year, which means if you want to join in, you still have time. Like I said, this is my 9th cast on for this year. I'm very excited. I cannot believe there are only 4 days left. So yeah, I'm ready to pick out a project. It is about 2:30 in the afternoon here. I've had a pretty busy morning. I've had injuries with children. We've been to church. We've come home. We've had lunch. And now I'm finally ready to cast on my next project. But I don't know what that project is going to be. So everyone does 12 cast-ons differently, but the way that I do it is that I pick a project out of this bowl every day and cast it on. Now, there are still quite a few projects left. There should be about 16, if my calculations are correct. I started with 24 and I've just been picking one a day. So I do not know what I'm going to pick out of the bowl today, and neither do you. So let's find out what it's going to be. It's always when I pick out two, I'm like, which one is it going to be? All right, no idea what this is. Let's find out together. The Elton pullover. I was looking at the yarn for this yesterday, wondering if it would come up this year or not. So the Elton pullover is a pattern by Joji Locatelli, who she has lots of beautiful, beautiful designs. I bought this pattern, I think she had a sale, and I bought the pattern in the sale and I bought yarn for it, but I never started it. I saw Ange, I think it was last year, she did this as one of her 12 cast-ons, and I absolutely loved the colours she chose. She had like I think it was a cream mohair and then like a creamy speckled orange main colour. I think. Go check it out. Go check out her videos if you want to know for sure. But I remember seeing her colours and thinking that is stunning. And then I was like, maybe I do want to start an Elton pullover. So I had a think, and then at one point I found yarn. It was a great price, so I bought it and put it aside for when I was ready to start it. At that point, I didn't have the pattern, so when the pattern went on sale, I did buy that as well. So I now have everything I need to start it, hopefully the needles as well. So I'm going to go grab the fabric, check what needles I need, and I will come back and show you the fabric, the yarn. I'm going to go grab the yarn, and then I'll come back and show you what I have to make the Elton pullover. I'm back. All right, I am printing off the Elton pattern right now. I looked up the pattern and it was 3 and 3.5 millimeter needles. So I've just been on a scavenger hunt, and it does feel like a scavenger hunt. And I do not have any 3.5 millimeter needles in my stash at the moment. They're all being used. So I've come and grabbed my big cozy cardi from last year, which I've only done a couple of inches on. And I've taken the needles off that, and I've made a nice note to myself saying, this is the size needle, this is where they've gone. I don't have a pattern in this bag for whatever reason. I think I have the pattern printed out. I don't know, maybe it's just because the bag's so small, so I've kept the pattern separate. Whatever it is, it's now, I've got a note saying what needles I'm using, which are the same as in the pattern. I haven't changed them, but it's always nice to know and be sure. So I now have the needles I need for the main body, as well as the needles I need for the collar. It is a top-down, I think it's top-down drop shoulder. So I'd have to check exactly what you do wear. But I now have the 3.5 millimeter. These are 100 centimeter. So I'll see how the construction is, and if 80 would work better, I may swap it out for something different. The 3 millimeter ones that I have, I've pulled out the 16-inch ones because I'm thinking if it's the collar for the neck, that should be okay. Otherwise, I can go get a longer pair. In my scavenger hunt, I did find 2 of my 4 millimeter needles. One of them was sitting in a project basket where I think I just put them to rest. And so I had in the basket the needles I needed for that project, which I'd taken off and used somewhere else and returned, and not actually put back onto the project. But I also found just a random pair of 4mm needles, and I'm pretty sure I don't need that for that project. So I've taken them out and put them back in my stash. I haven't put them with one of the projects that I've stolen needles from yet. I thought I'd leave them, see what happens over the next couple of days. Because I've still got 3 more projects that may need 4mm needles. The other one is a cowl that I was making for my daughter that I'm going to turn into a headband and then restart. And hopefully restart with different needles. So if I do that, then that's 2 4mm needles that I found. And then I have enough 4mm needles for all of the patterns that I'm doing at the moment. So again, I'm not going to do that. If I did need 4mm today, my plan was to finish off. I'm just going to like cast off and be done with that one. So I would have done that. But since I don't need that right now, I'm not going to do that right now. I am going to start my Elton. So little crinkle, I'm going to get out the yarn and show you. All right, I have the yarn. So this is the main color. So Elton, if you're not aware, I'll put a photo up, but if you're not aware, Elton is stripes, and it's stripes of a fingering weight yarn with stripes of a mohair or fuzzy yarn. And so you end up with like thicker and thinner parts of the pullover, the sweater. And it's drop shoulder and has like kind of 3/4 sleeve length. So I'll probably do it everything to spec again because I like the way that it looks. And I'll probably just wear it over like a merino singlet in autumn or something like that around the house. So it'll be warmer, but not for winter necessarily. So I have this. This is by Furno. It's a Pinot Surprise. I do believe my cast on for day 1, my main skein was Pinot Surprise, and I bought it at the same time as this. And this is the other colour. In day 1, I was talking about wanting to do a half and half triangle wrap, which is a free pattern by Pearl Soho. And I was talking how I bought 2 colours and I was planning to do them together for the half and half. This, I'm pretty sure, is the other colour. I bought 2 for the Elton, and then I bought a 3rd one to do in that half and half. And I think because this is greens with blues and the other one was like a minty green with pinks and purples, I think I was leaning more towards wanting like a pink and purple for the other half when I saw them together. This was just, in my opinion, a bit too bland for that project. For this project, I am very excited for it. So I'm very happy that I've repurposed that other skein into my linen soup shawl from day 1. And it does mean I do have 3 skeins of this. So I'm going to use 2 for this. It means if I run short, I have plenty. So it is by Furno Natural Yarns, 100% Merino, colour 91. There is that information if you're interested. And for the mohair fluffy element, I am going to use Rowan Kid Silk Haze. And this is colour 723. Now, this is my first time. I'm not even sure these colours are showing up well. They're pretty good. I would say, from what I can see in the camera, they're a little bit more green. That's coming out more blue. But I won't know for sure until I'm in editing if that is correct. And like this part is, like this is definitely more of a grassy green to give some context to that. First time using Kid Silk Haze, I believe. I bought this from Byferno at the same time. I was very happy when I saw that they had colours that would work together. And this colour is, yeah, it's pretty close to these colours in here. So it will end up with quite a muted look overall, but still have some interest in the merino. And that's kind of what I wanted because it's a stripy sweater. Can I do this? Because it's stripy, I wanted to have a little bit of interest, not just, I didn't want it to be one colour. I wanted it to read one colour, but have some interest in it. So that does give a pretty good idea of what I was hoping for this one. I'm excited to get started. I don't know if I start with the collar or if I start working flat? I have no idea. So I'm going to go and get the printed off pattern and start this sweater. I am, in terms of sizing, it says recommended 16 inches ease, and I'm between sizes, so I either can do 14-inch ease or 18-inch ease. I'm thinking I'll probably do 14-inch. Since I'm in between, it doesn't seem much like it's much of a muchness. My only concern is if I go down and my gauge is slightly off, the sleeves might be a bit tight. But I think that's probably what I will do. So I'm going to grab the needles, grab a project bag, grab some stitch markers because I forgot that yesterday and then I needed them, and get going. I will check in with you soon. Hello, I am back to show you my progress. I realized that today is a bit of a shorter episode or a shorter vlog, I'm sure, because I haven't done much. We watched Taskmaster tonight, but I don't think I remember to take any footage of that. It was a New Year's treat, I think is what they call it. We watched both episodes tonight, quite fun. And yeah, I sorted medicine today, which I know sounds super exciting, but we needed to go through all of our medicine. We have it in quite a few different places around the house. And so I was just going through to figure out what we actually have, what's out of date, what's not, and got rid of some things. But yeah, it wasn't a very exciting or glamorous day. That's okay. I didn't get to cast on until after dinner. In fact, after the kids were in bed. I did wind up the yarn after dinner before they went to bed. And then, yeah, I got some knitting time in this evening. So let me show you what I've done. I have put my little stitch marker in there already. But this is what I've done. You can see there, I've just started the mohair. I have done a decent chunk in the middle, and then the edges have a lot less. So the way that this pattern is done is you start at the back, you cast on one shoulder, then you cast on the other, then you cast on a lot of stitches in the middle and join them, and then you do short rows. And so I finished the short rows. I was ready to go to bed before I'd finished the short rows, and I was like, I just want to finish them, because if I don't know when I'm going to be picking this up again, I don't want to have short rows waiting and come back in the middle of short rows and not know how many repeats I have and all those kinds of things. So I was like, I just want to finish the short rows, start the contrast color, which is the mohair, and just, yeah, get to that point before I put it down. And then I realized I was doing some of the short rows wrong. So this pattern uses the wrap and turn method. I learned to do short rows with the German short rows method, which you can interchange them without a problem for most things, and you just have to, I forget which way it goes. I think if you're doing German short rows, you do one extra stitch that if you're doing wrap and turn, so that the short row happens on the same stitch. So I was like, I could have done that, but I've done wrap and turn before, so I was like, I'll just do that, that's fine. And I realized when I was picking it up, I was picking up the purl backwards. So I think you're meant to purl through back loop to knit the purl together, but I was purling through purling normally, and it meant that it had a little twist on the front. So when I realized that my knit stitches didn't have that and my purl stitches did, figured out what I was doing wrong. And then when I got to my next knit row, every time I got to one where I had a purl short row underneath, or a short row that I had purled together underneath, I dropped down to that, fixed it, and then did the ladder back up the top. So that took a little bit of extra time, but it is now, it now looks right. So I'm very happy that I did that. And I still wanted to get to the same point. So I just stayed up a little bit longer, got to that point. I've only done 2 rows of the mohair at this point. I really wanted to do 4 rows and then go back to the main color again, but I decided that it would be better to get some sleep tonight. And because from now on, the short rows are done, it's just knitting, or at least in knitting and purling because it's stockinette. But I thought that would be a fine place to leave it and come back and pick it up another time. So not as much progress to show you, but it's not ribbing. I have done short rows, and that is, you know, from the high part of the back, that's 2 inches. Yeah, I am loving the yarn with the lining and backlighting. I'm not sure how well you're going to see it here, but I am loving the yarn. It is lovely to work with. I'm enjoying the color variation, and I think it's got just enough variation that when you get those lines of mohair, it's going to be a nice solid contrast. So yeah, this one is going away for the night, going away for a while. I don't know when I'm going to touch it again, but it is exciting that it has started. What I'm wearing, because I didn't mention this today, and I forgot a couple of days ago, and people were asking what it was. So what I'm wearing today is the Fluffigan. It is by Renya of Comfort Zone Knits. It's knit in Martin's Lab. I'm not going to remember what the name is, but it's like it's a mohair merino. So it's fingering weight, but it's mohair and merino in the same yarn. So it's dyed by them. And unfortunately, I found out the other day that Renya from Comfort Zone Knits is no longer selling her patterns. So you can't actually buy this pattern. I did this as a test knit a year ago maybe, but she's not selling her patterns anymore. She's decided to stop designing and to focus on other things, which I was quite sad about actually. I've done a couple of test knits for her. I've knit quite a few of her patterns. They're generally quite nice. Like I've never knit one that I'm like, wow, this is a bad pattern. I've really enjoyed them. One of her jumpers is one of my favorites. In fact, I should pull that one out and wear it maybe tomorrow. But anyway, all that to say, you can't buy this pattern anymore. If you really want it, you may be able to reach out to her. But otherwise, she does have some beautiful free patterns still online. So you can still download her free patterns from Ravelry. Just all of her paid for patterns you cannot download anymore. You can't buy and download. So if you're interested in getting some really lovely free patterns, she does have some nice ones. And I did download a few of them yesterday, including she did a shawl, I think it's called The Last Dance, as a goodbye and thank you to the community over the past few years. Anyway, all that to say, I'm wearing the fluff again. It's a drop shoulder cardigan, and I did do it cropped to wear it over dresses. So I think I did a size down based on recommended ease and then cropped. I think that's all I have tonight. As always, I'd love to hear what you've been working on while you've joined me today. And yeah, tomorrow our plans I think are to go into town, do a bit of shopping, come back in the afternoon. So hopefully I will be able to at least pick my project early tomorrow and then cast on, maybe even before we go out. We'll see, depending on what it is. But thank you so much for joining me again. I've had a really lovely day getting started on this, even though it was a late start. And I will see you next time. Bye.